Woo! Alright, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sabre gameplay. If you're new to the page, you'll notice the Sabres are by far my favorite aircraft to fly, and the A-5 is no exception. Now, first of all guys, this video comes with a disclaimer. The A-5 is not a beginner-friendly aircraft. I only recommend flying it after you mastered the art of Sabre piloting, particularly like reversals, energy management, and really what it comes down to is situational awareness with this aircraft. And you'll see I actually lose situational awareness. There comes another A-5, but guess what? He just ripped. And that unfortunately is what a lot of A-5 Sabre pilots do. They are not familiar with the aircraft. It's actually a very, very good turner, and so it runs the risk of ripping its wings a lot because it has the leading edge slats. Those slats are they're deadly if you're not careful. Right around 700 kilometers an hour, and you start pulling a turn, those things pop out, and your wing off light's going to come on, and you're going to be done. So I've come up with a few things to try and help you guys, give you a few tips with this. A couple of the biggest problems you'll have with this plane, since it does lack the power of the F2s, the F40s, the F25s, all the rest of the Sabres are much faster. So this guy, the first tip, this is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this, and with any Sabre, with any 9.0 jet, but fly this thing with min fuel. Min fuel load's only 9 minutes in this thing when you're fully upgraded, 10 minutes if you're stock. The advantage it gives you is huge. The acceleration up to about 700 kilometers an hour is actually on par with an EF Sabre. After that, they'll start pulling away from you. They're considerably faster, but you know your top speed's 1050, and you're gonna have a hard time maintaining it. And so against 10.0 aircraft like this one, I mean, you have to be really sneaky. You have to be, plan out your moves to try and pop one of these guys, but it can be done. The other huge advantage that flying with min fuel gives you is it actually decreases the wing loading on the aircraft. So aside from giving you that extra acceleration, when you start pulling hard turns, because the fuel tank's actually in the fuselage on this aircraft, that more weight you put in that fuselage, the more stress you put on the wings when you turn. So if you fly min fuel, you actually run less of a chance of ripping. So moving on to match like this is typical scenario right here with the A-5. I mean, you'll see right away that I'm already very slow. You start getting involved, the leading edge slats pop out, and you got a couple people on you, you're never going to regain your speed. So I try to at least maintain 600 kilometers an hour. That's my happy spot. This plane still out turns all the rest of the Sabres at slow speeds, but if you don't have that speed, you can't dodge anybody. So this is where situational awareness really comes in handy. You'll see me doing a lot of pre-planned maneuvers here, trying to avoid giving these CLs a shot on me. But really what it comes down to is the A-5 is not a carry plane. It's not a plane you expect to get all the kills and win the match. No, it's more of a support plane. And the reason I say this is because if anybody wants to fight with you and actually get in a full-fledged dogfight, you're going to get that aircraft slow. They're going to have to bleed a lot of energy to try and get a shot on you, and this is where your teammate, if you bring your teammate in with an F2 or F25 Sabre, he's gonna mop up anybody that comes up behind you, and vice versa. You can mop up anybody off of their butt, because once you latch onto a Sabre, any other Sabre, this plane keeps up, and by keeps up I mean it outturns any Sabre that it fights. So this thing actually is very much on par with performance of the G91. And people are always complaining that the G91 was at 8.0, and they complained enough it got put up to 9.0, which it's plenty capable of fighting that. And then I hear the exact opposite argument with this plane, where it's not good enough for 9.0 and it should be down tiered. No, it should not be down tiered. This aircraft, like I say, it keeps up with the G91. It's almost the same. It turns just as well, if not just a little bit better, and it might actually have just a little bit more power. So let's go ahead and recap. With the A-5, you just fly at min fuel. I mean, if you get a really large map and you're going to have a bit of a fight, you could take 20, but you just got to be really cautious, and you're going to have to be aware that you're not going to have the acceleration you had. You're not going to be able to pull the turns you had. You're going to likely rip. So if you fly min fuel, it gives you the advantage that puts you back on par with the rest of the Sabres. You'll never be as fast. But if you plan your shots, plan your approaches, grab a little bit of altitude. You can always trade altitude for airspeed if you need it. Secondly, just remember you're going to have to really keep your head on a swivel with this aircraft. If you haven't learned how to fly with the keyboard yet, go back, look for my keyboard tutorial. It'll help you out a little bit. It really, really helps to maintain your situational awareness. Don't expect this to be, a carry plane. It's definitely a support plane, but you can turn with just about anything except for, say, Venom. Venom's the last thing you want to turn with. But MiGs, MiG-15, MiG-17, just be cautious of your airspeed. Don't try and get lower than, like, let's say 500 unless you're fully committed and you're safe and you got nobody else to come in and wipe you out. But definitely MiG-15s, this thing just slaughters MiG-15s. MiG-17 is right there with it. You just really got to be careful. And to go with that, like I say, when you get involved in a fight, you're gonna get busy. You're gonna have to maintain that situational awareness. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna get swarmed very quickly, and you will probably die. There's really no way around that. But I'll tell you what, if you want a plane that you're just gonna have downright fun in, and you want to turn fight people, this is the plane to do it in. And again, I don't recommend, if you're new to jets, don't start with this plane. You're going to end up in disappointment. But once you learn how to manage your energy and control it and control the fight, you're going to have a lot of fun in this plane. I know I do, and that's why I'm making this video. This is a very, very underestimated plane in the right hands. And it's a lot of fun, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer questions. If you haven't yet, join the Discord. We can answer questions in a forum there. There's plenty of guys to help you out. And enjoy the rest of the footage. Hope you learned something. And leave a like if you don't mind, because your guys' support, that gives me the drive to keep doing this stuff. And thanks again, guys. I really appreciate the support over the past couple weeks. We'll see you around.
Thank you.